In the last lesson, we talked about small talk, vocabulary, questions, clarifying questions, and some adjectives. In this lesson, we will talk about listening for details and make our own comparisons. We're so glad to have you here. Let's get started. Please listen to the following conversation. Tom: Hello, David. Here's the information about the new computers. Do you want to look at it together? David: Hi, Tom. Sure. Let's see. Tom: Okay, what's the processor speed of the 190? David: 2,800 gigahertz. But the AK6 is 3,000 gigahertz, so it's faster. Tom: Yes, and it has more RAM, so the memory is bigger too. David: What about the hard drive? Tom: The 190 is 120 gigabytes and the AK6 is 160 gigabytes. David: Ah, so the hard drive of the 190 is smaller. David: Tom: Yes, the video card is worse too, and the CD writer is slower. David: How many USB ports are there? Tom: Well, the 190 has 6 in total, 2 at the rear and 4 at the front. The AK6 only has 2 at the rear. David: So the 190 is more convenient in that respect. Tom: Look at this. The antivirus software on the 190 is from 2005. The AK6 has a more recent version. David: Yes, that's important, but the price is more important. How much do they cost? Tom: The 190 costs $900. The other costs $1,150. David: So the 190 is cheaper. Tom: Yes, but I don't think it is as good as the AK6. Even if the AK6 is more expensive, I prefer it. David: I agree. Let's get that one. All right, so this is a conversation between two people named Tom and David. They are talking about computers. So which words in this conversation are the most important? Which words should we look out for the most? The parts of the conversation that refer to the AK6 computer are outlined in green. The parts of the conversation that refer to the computer 190 are outlined in red. Let's look at the conclusions we can draw. The AK6 is faster. It has more RAM. The memory is bigger. The hard drive of the 190 is smaller. The video card is worse. The antivirus software on the 190 is less recent. The 190 is cheaper. Let's take a look at the words highlighted in yellow. Computers, processor speed, faster, more, bigger, hard drive, worse, slower, convenient, recent, cheaper, as good as, and expensive. What do you notice about these words? So these words are the nouns and the adjectives in the sentences. Okay? So in conversations like this, we need to pay attention to what is being described and how it's being described. How to know which details are important. Okay? So in this situation, when we're talking about computers, we need to know if it's better if something is faster or slower. Is it better to have bigger memory or smaller memory? Is it better to have more RAM or less RAM? Okay, so in this situation, faster, bigger, more, convenient, and recent are all very good things. Whereas, I don't think it's as good as expensive, smaller hard drive, worse video card are all negative things, right? That will help us determine which computer is better. Okay, so when we hear AK6 and 190, what are they talking about? Which one is better? Which one is faster? Which one has a bigger hard drive? And which one isn't as good? It turns out the AK6 is a computer and the 190 is a computer, and they are describing how they are different. And we learned that the AK6 is better than the 190. The AK6 is faster than the 190, it has a bigger hard drive, and the antivirus is more recent. That's a good thing. The 190 isn't as good as the AK6. Let's talk about comparisons. You may say to your coworker, I like this search engine because it's faster and more relevant than other search engines. Faster is usually better, and more relevant is usually better as well. But slower in this situation is not as good. But given another situation, such as an ink printer that runs out of ink at a slower rate, slower would be better. So sometimes the adjective depends on the context. If it's good or if it's bad, it just depends on the context. Let's have a look at some examples. This older website is more boring than that one, so the new one is more interesting. This search engine provides a longer list of results than that one, so it's more helpful. As you can see in these two examples, boring is, of course, a bad thing. More interesting is a good thing. But as I mentioned before, interesting can have multiple meanings depending on the tone. And a longer list of search engines is definitely better, and helpful is definitely better. The internet access with this company is cheaper than that one, so it's more economical. Again, we're seeing economical is a good thing, and in this case, cheaper is a good thing because it's describing an object and it's not describing a person. And next, dial-up internet is slower than broadband internet. The older digital camera is more bulky than the efficient one. So bulky in this case is not a good thing, as it generally is not, and efficient is a good thing. Using adjectives in comparatives can be a little bit difficult. There are 3 basic rules. For some adjectives, you may add more or less to the beginning, like more interesting, less boring, more important, less efficient, more economical, less expensive, more noisy. For others, you will add ER or IER to the end. Longer, bulkier, quieter, cheaper, louder, hotter. As you can see with bulkier, because bulky ends in Y, you would change Y to I and then add ER. Some exceptions to these rules are worse and better. You would not say worser or betterer. And irrelevant. Feel free to pause the video to make your own comparisons using the nouns on the left and the adjectives on the right. Let's do a quick review. First, ask for clarification by saying sorry or pardon. Small talk should be light, general, and professional. Questions never have verbs at the end. A do question usually is requesting a yes or no answer. Which is requesting a choose one or the other answer. Where is requesting a location answer. When listening for details, listen for nouns and adjectives. Decide which is better in the given context, and create your own comparisons. Last, adjectives can be good or bad depending on the context, and then there's a general list of good adjectives and bad adjectives, no matter what the context is. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!